How Godzilla x Kong fails at character dynamics between Godzilla and Kong, an essay by Ed Derrick on Monsterverse Reddit. Discussion. Before I begin, I need to get some things out of the way. Things people will most likely assume based on the title alone. No, I am not gonna compare GXK to -1. No, I am not a hater. I had a great time watching GXK in the theaters, but I do acknowledge it is not a perfect movie and could have been much better with some script revisions. This post will say negative things about GXK, so if you can't stand that and only want to hear good things about the movie, this isn't the post for you. I'm trying to do constructive criticism. That is, say what I think is wrong, but also provide and imply a solution. Alright, let's begin. Ever since GXK's marketing started to gain attraction, we were told Godzilla and Kong would be teaming up, and director Adam Wingard used the term buddy cop dynamic multiple times throughout interviews to promote his movie. But when it finally came out, it didn't exactly deliver on what we were expecting, and personally, the movie felt like Kong and also Godzilla, the New Empire. Here's why. The first reason being the two monster stars take too long to meet. The first time we see the two on screen together is 1 hour and 28 minutes into the movie. If you cut the credits, Godzilla and Kong meets less than half an hour left in the film. This simply doesn't do justice to the title and the way the movie was marketed. Second is the amount of interaction they have. We can quickly list them off. They fight, they roar at each other, making peace. They run next to each other for a few seconds. Kong rides Godzilla for a few seconds. They save each other's asses in some pivotal moments. Do a single combo. The one where Kong throws Scar King at Goji, who then tail whips him back to Kong. They nod positively at each other once victory is achieved, and that's it. And again, these few things happens within the last few minutes of the movies. And not only are those interactions short, they don't carry that much meaning. And one of them might bring down the little development they had in the previous movie. Godzilla's first instinct when he sees Kong is to fight him. Despite Kong showing he is not a threat, something Godzilla has no problem understanding at the end of GVK. Kong drops the axe. Godzilla gets the message. Kong doesn't want to fight anymore. Kong points his empty hand at him, tries to point at the portal to show him he is not here to fight. But for some reason, this time, Godzilla is a mindless beast who wants to fight Kong no matter what. And remember, King of the Monster and Godzilla vs. Kong had something consistent about Godzilla. He will not attack you if you show yourself to not be a threat, i.e., not making a lot of noise, having an aggressive stance. They put the shields and guns down. Godzilla understands. Not a threat. They remain still. Godzilla understands. Not a threat. They turn off everything, making the noise in the ships. Kong lays down. He understands. Not a threat. GXK comes in and they completely throw that away. Now Godzilla will attack anything he sees in front of him, no matter if that thing doesn't show to be a threat, and doesn't matter if that thing once saved his life. They dump down Godzilla, so we can have he and Kong destroy the pyramids for some mindless entertainment. I like dumb fun, but not at the cost of character inconsistencies. The fact that Mothra was needed to make the two become allies also dumbs down both of them. Again, because they were able to make a truce and team up in GVK. And before you say, Godzilla knew Scar and his armies are coming up, so he thought Kong was recruited by Scar. Godzilla was afraid and angry and wasn't thinking clearly. Nothing in the movie really suggests this. Yes, Godzilla knows Scar is coming and is prepared for it, but the movie never shows Godzilla is so afraid of him to the point of thinking irrationally. He never shows fear, If he thought Kong was a red stripe from the distance, sure, but the moment he got closer, he should have recognized Kong, the ape who saved his life despite the nasty fight. The ape who dropped his axe and made a truce and should have stopped attacking and tried to understand what is going on. Diving deeper into their interactions, you will see that there is no body cop dynamic. In fact, there is very little, if any, dynamic between the two characters. During the battles, they don't have personal interaction because they are constantly busy fighting the evil counterpart. You don't have Kong being angry at the way Godzilla does things, and vice versa. You know, what would you expect from a buddy cop dynamic? The experienced cop usually doesn't like the rookie, and the rookie doesn't like the experienced cop because he is always nagging about things he is doing wrong. You don't see Godzilla and Kong do any type of non-verbal communication. They don't plan, they don't call each other for help. Their team up scenes feels a lot more like a coincidence than something the two characters intended to happen slash do. For examples, did Godzilla tackle Shima because he was trying to protect Kong from harm? Or did Godzilla just happen to be in the right place in the right time and was solely concerned about attacking Shima? Kong doesn't even try calling for help in this scene. He looks like he forgot he and Godzilla were supposed to be a team. Instead, he just accepts his fates. What's the point of making an epic team up if you're just gonna have your character fights different villains and or only occasionally help each other a little? The Hollow Earth battle is the best example of this. They run side by side, and we think this is it. It's what the movie has been building up, only for them to attack individually and not interact with each other a single time in this entire sequence. No communication, no helping each other, no interaction, no dynamic. Debate. And the switch. Godzilla never has Kong's back. Kong never has Godzilla's back. Instead, we have Zuko helping Kong and Mothra helping Godzilla. What's the point behind the movie's title and the marketing? It's like if I edited G14 and King Kong Skull Island together, cutting from the Muto battle to the Skullcrawler battle, and call it a Godzilla and Kong crossover. It just doesn't work. And the weird thing is, Godzilla vs. Kong did the teaming up of the two pretty much perfectly. They attack the same enemy at the same time, they share a common goal and are helping each other achieve it. However, I will give credit to the Godzilla vs. Kong where it is deserved. There's one scene where Godzilla is clearly trying to help out Kong, where he solely focused on protecting him, which is when he was using the atomic breath on Shima. Remember, he just broke Scar's whip, scared Scar away with his atomic breath. The crystal is exploded and can be destroyed easily, but Godzilla chooses to attack Shima so Kong doesn't freeze to death. This is teaming up. This is helping each other. Godzilla gives priority to saving Kong's life instead of pursuing the object, breaks Shima's mind control and kills Scar. And the only other scene where the movie does the team up right is when Kong throws Scar at Goji because you can clearly see the two communicating. Kong grabs Scar. Godzilla says, "Throw him at me." "Catch," says Kong. Those two examples is what the movie is needed to have lots of. The two kaijus caring about each other's well-being and vocally coordinating their attacks, as well as physically attacking the same opponent at the same time. Team up! Now, anything the movie was lacking was an actual dynamic between Godzilla and Kong. Why they needed was that for their personalities to bounce off each other. This is a very useful trope in the movies, especially superhero team-up movies. The writers of GXK clearly knows how to do that, because these two exist. Bernie and Trappers are a fun duo to watch. But why is that? Because they are opposites, and opposites interacting creates funny slash interesting scenes. Bernie is a podcaster, an influence. He stays at the comfort of his home, interacting with his fans online. Meanwhile, Trapper is a thrill seeker, adrenaline junkie, nature lover, who works as a Titan veterinarian. and rips teeth out of a 300-foot tall gorilla. Bernie is traumatized by the man-eating tree. Trapper quickly shrugs it off and lets a mosquito bite him because of that's the nature's order of things. So when these two interacts, Bernie freaking out is funny. Trapper's unusual calmness in that situation is funny, and when he tries to calm Bernie down, it's funny too. An example outside of Godzilla x Kong is in Avengers 1 with Iron Man and Captain America. Cap is a humble and righteous soldier from the 1940s. Tony is an eccentric billionaire, arrogant inventor of advanced technology. He wants to be the center of attention. He likes making jokes of everyone around him to stay relevant. Once again, they are the opposites of each other, so their interactions will be amusing. But Godzilla and Kong have none of that. They even are opposites. But again, they don't have interaction based on that. Godzilla is a badass warrior who will stop at nothing to achieve his goal of protecting Earth's balance. Kong is a warrior too, but he fights for himself and for the innocents who can't defend themselves. He feels lonely and seeks a family, a sense of belonging. The movie doesn't do any of that. No scenes where Kong tries to stop Godzilla from killing an ape who surrenders. No scene where Godzilla doesn't trust Zuko and gets into an argument with Kong. They just look at each other briefly, roar at each other, and nod at each other, and after the battle is over. And that's it. They don't have disagreements during the team up. They don't show if they still hold the grudges against each other or not. And lastly, I want to bring up the fact that they only start sharing screen time with less than half an hour of the movie left. Because the plot lines don't support each other at all, to the point where they could be two different movies. Godzilla killing Celia in Rome doesn't affect Kong. Kong going on a journey with Zuko doesn't affect Godzilla. Godzilla killing Tiamat doesn't affect Kong's relationship with the great apes. The two just could keep going through their completely separate and different journeys until Jia tells Kong he will need help. So yeah, I think these are all my points. Godzilla and Kong don't affect each other for a long time. They take too long to come together, and once they do, they barely interact, don't have a dynamic, don't communicate during battle, only actively help each other once or twice, which just doesn't fit with what the movie was being described as. Thanks for reading. I plan on doing a sequel on this verse about Godzilla and his evolved form.